Okay, I'm doing this video, two-part series review on why I'm so fucking tired of MCU's Avengers. I don't know what I'm going to tell me. I'll tell that. So we're gonna tell. It depends on if it can fit. Something like that. So I'm not going to review all four Avengers. It's a two-part video because I'm going to review the two movies and the four movies and for legally speaking the four Avengers movies up until Endgame. Because all legally, even though Captain America Civil War has gone by, that every time I've gone by that film and reviewed it, I mentioned it as one of the Avengers, I mentioned it as one of the Avengers, but legally speaking, that doesn't count. You know, sadly, that's the lead one that takes the most risks, and the only one that takes risks in telling the story. Even though it does sugarcoat as it gets close to the third act. So there's one comment that has, what's the Avengers formula? Sugarcoat your entire concept. Till there's so much sugar, you're sure you're not sure if for sure or not if you have diabetes from all the sugar for each Avengers film. The only one that has a little sugar coat, the left side of the four, and counting Civil War 2, is Avengers Age of Ultron. That's probably why that's the most hated out of the bunch. If you count Civil War 2, which I do. But I don't hate this. I think Age of Ultron is the best movie ever in the Avengers franchise. Sadly, will be the best movie until they beat the dead horse into the ground until there's no more money coming out of that whore of the Avengers brand that they're abusing. So let's dive in. Let's take a trip down memory lane to the holy grail that is 2012's Avengers movie. Full title is Marvel's The Avengers. See, that wasn't obvious. It wasn't obvious that we couldn't just call it The Avengers. They had to put the word Marvel in it. I feel my blood pressure rising. Surprised I haven't passed out over anger, but that's still just. I don't know why I'm doing this, making these videos for my torture, or just because I get my point across, or maybe for all the above. Maybe I like torturing myself, because I kind of do. Part of me likes to torture myself because it's the only way I can get my point across by making these fucking videos, and hopefully one day they'll stop the train wreck of the Avengers movies, the catastrophe that is a mega juggernaut that is the Avengers. They'll stop that franchise altogether, or they'll improve on it. Although I don't know how could they improve on it. And yes, now we gotta talk about the standalone films. Standalone films most of the times is a way to set the next Avengers film, and that's what people seem to like. Black Panther, Captain America movies, all three of them, and all three Iron Man movies, and more people like and etc. And why so many people aren't split on Spider-Man movies, Far From Home and Homecoming, and the Thor movies, all three of them probably. Because those movies are more focused on making good movies, but that's stupid. That's not the most marketed decision. Well, you have to keep the fans that like being fucked over happy, while the fans that like being satisfied with the movie fucked over. And that guess what I am with the second group. Oh, fuck. That's my thoughts on every MCU film on standalone that's just filler most of the times until we can see the next Avengers film. And because that's the whole point of them. So maybe this is talking about every Avengers film, but also the MCU as a whole and cinema for the standalone films majority of the time. So yeah, that's me talking about this. Me last time about this. So I only talked about this and oh, now how does this connect to Avengers? Well, because this is foreshadowing the events of each Avengers film, how each these characters sort of are not going to just get their own standalone movie, but going to get their own play in the next Avengers movie sooner or later. So yeah. Now when I talk about this, let's talk about all the Avengers. This. Okay, let's talk about the easiest one to talk about, which is the easier one out of this two that I'm going to do in this review, which is Marvel's The Avengers. The title is better than the movie, I'll say this. It's a 5 out of 10, being the mediocre at best. And parts are hard to sit through because of the pacing feeling off at times. Doesn't always feel like it's sometimes a little more joy time, like 90% time. Like Spider-Verse, the pacing loses its beat by taking the movie seriously instead of being a tongue-in-cheek movie. Now, when it's being a tongue-in-cheek movie, that's when it's at its best. But when it's being serious, you want to throw yourself out of the window, take the ball and just put yourself out of your misery, or do something to put yourself out of misery. Maybe take a cyanide pill. It will basically kill you, but it's a quicker death is better than a slower death. That compared to this, it's a lot more painless than it's probably a movie less painless and quicker and more done over with than this movie will be. Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's movie, the first Avengers we call it called Marvel's The Avengers, spelled with S. The Marvel part. And apostrophe, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's basically the show. Instead of poking fun of the superhero genre every formally that you ever done in a superhero team up, or every superhero comic movie, or every action movie in general, instead of poking fun of the history, they decided to play it straight while wearing their comic book accurate sort of looking costumes, was having unfinished, unpolished, dark and gritty, painful looking color grading. Which most of the time, up until Endgame, looked someone pissed on cement and then shat on it. It was a case of diarrhea. Oh, by the way, the Endgame has the worst color grading. It just... Actually, yeah, so... Just the one that has the best coloring is probably Infinity War or probably Age of Ultron. I don't know, they all look like ugly. So yeah, then we get to then the Avengers overcome their differences, not because of really hard work, but because Coulson that they barely knew on screen and any of the Avengers got to interact with and grow attached to that actually equals character development or anything that actually matters. That makes the Avengers come together and assemble. Who pays the slazy writing? Yay! Oh. Is this everyone's point of view on the best of the best comic book experience? Because if that is, I think I'm going to drop dead and get a heart attack soon one of these days in my old age, because I keep on hearing that sooner or later over stress and stuff. So then we get to Age of Ultron. The only good sort of look, everything's great except for the color grading, and the characters actually have flaws and obstacles go come each one of them actually coming together as a team. But who cares that we don't have Coulson, the heart and soul of the film that the Avengers barely knew, barely sharing screen time within each in their own spin-off is always coming together film. It's not the Avengers without Coulson. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Age of Ultron. And we actually have, instead of having an annoying prick called Loki, we actually have a very complex and deep and comedic villain. That's basically the Antichrist of Tony Stark. While the Tony Stark is literally Jesus in these films and can do anything. The Avengers was incapable and incompetent without him. Except in this movie when they actually made him a human being, and instead of making him the Messiah, they decided to make him the center of the film, like in the comics. And he's the more wild card of the Avengers instead of the Messiah of the Avengers, because clearly Messiah is more interesting than a wild card. Makes sense to me? Anyway, the Avengers assemble, get their act together, and live happily ever together. Okay? I give this movie an 8 out of 10, so I give it my stamp. I give it it would get a 9 or 10 out of 10 easily if they just fixed it from being ugly looking. So instead of making a bright and vibrant, colorful looking film like it is and come across as, they decided to make it like a dark and gritty and painful looking film that it's not. Or just like the first one. It does not these look like the Avengers from these look like my Avengers from the comics. None of these look like Avengers comics come to life, and these assholes are claiming they are the Avengers come to life when they can't even get the fucking color right in any of the 4 Avengers films. And this is my end of part 1 of me coming up with the title still, and that's it. I'm tired. And then I'm going to talk about Endgame and Infinity War in the next video.